G'day and welcome. And this video is another one of those, lots of parts. Parts for the XA. I've been sort of gathering bits and pieces for that. Cylinder head, steering wheel, stuff like that. So there's a lot of that sort of thing in this. And there's also a lot more work on Grahams Starlet. So one of the parts I bought actually, I didn't show. I started filming. I thought, you know what, I'm absolutely hashing this. It was a motorcycle seat cover. I'll show you in a minute. I don't want to do something, mess it up, and then pretend I didn't mess it up, and then just show you a perfect item. Life doesn't work like that. Sometimes you do screw up, and well, I screwed up. But I don't think it matters because I can take it off and do it again, repat it. It was just the whole thing was just a mess because I paid $100 from Clark Rubber. I'm not going to say don't go there, but gee there, dear. And yeah, I just shouldn't have bothered. So anyway. Lots and lots of parts in this. At the end of the parts bit, you can, what do you call it? Stop if you don't want to see Starlet content, because I wasn't supposed to be doing extra Starlet content. But look, that's what I've been doing. And I'm waiting. I'm still waiting for the plumber, who's a very good friend. I've known him 30 years, and he's inundated with work. So once I get the plumber to do the downpipes on that extension, then I can get it concreted, final inspection, all that stuff. And then I can start using it. But at the moment, it's just dirt under there. I can't really use it. So anyway, look. I think you'll enjoy this one. There's some great bits, so I hope you enjoy. Right, this is the thing I'm actually ashamed of. Motorcycle seat cover. It's a beautiful cover for this lovely 354. It's got wrinkles everywhere. I just didn't do a very good job. There needs to be more padding around there. But, on the other thing, look around here. There's bloody more wrinkles than people's privates there. It's ridiculous. It does come with a piece of this strap for the pillion passenger grab bit. I can buff these up. Grant Wickham gave me a bit of chrome buffing stuff, which I can use for that, which will come up. They'll come up great. They just get held in with 6mm threads, sort of beneath the thing there. And I also need to sort of figure this out. They're riveted, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with that. But anyway, look, that's not good. I'm not proud of it, but it doesn't matter. I can redo it. Right. Current motorcycle parts. Here we have a jack. I had it on my eBay watch list and they give you 10% off as an offer, and I actually took it. These are brilliant. Dave Raymakers has got one of these, and I traditionally just used his. They've got sort of rubber coated feet there, which are great for getting between headers to lift the front up. But these are fantastic. This thing came in, it's actually got a bend in it, you can see that walking. This thing came in at $75 or something. So I'm going to lower it all the way around. So motorcycle stuff, I've sort of been gathering bits and pieces of motorcycle odds and ends, which I'm going to need. I need to actually have a look at the front bearings on the thing behind me, and also on the 354. This is another thing. This is a bit like my mother. She's my mother-in-law. So she has a way of buying bits and pieces as they come on special, hoarding them in her cupboard. When it's somebody's birthday, she'll pull one out and give it to them. This is a complete wiring loom for CB354. Now, I've got one bike that's finished, but I do have that, we called it colloquially the 350 Special, on the bench behind me when I do the intros. And it's got all the right connectors, everything. Something like $58 or $56 American. A little bit more by the time you get it here, probably $80 or something, I don't know what it was. I've had it for a little while, but that is absolutely brilliant because that started off life as just a frame. And of course I'm using that old go-kart engine in it, which I've sort of cleaned up. I've got to finish putting that together, but that's another thing worthy of consideration. And of course, I was really happy to receive this. This is for the Suzuki behind me. This, alongside a master cylinder overhaul kit, will finish that bike, and I can ride it. Master cylinder, front master, aftermarket, around $100. But the thing that impressed me is it's all aluminium. I thought the lid in the photo was just plastic. It's actually better than what the photos showed. So that can go on the bike. It's an early bike, so it doesn't have the front brake light switch in there, but I don't think that matters, at least I hope it doesn't. It's got the new lever, everything on it, and I'm really, really happy with that. So I'll get the new brake line made up. I'll get Peter at New Brakes to do the brake line, because he has all the equipment to do it, with also the branding on the brake line, which is what a lot of that people need for, a lot of people look for when they do the roadworthies on them to make sure it's good approved hose. Right, one of the last things I've got to do with this Suzuki to get it finished is rebuild this front caliper. And it's a 38mm piston, which is non-incidental, doesn't matter. There's a place in the UK that sells these. It's about $90 kit or something like that, and it comes with all the caliper slides and other bits and pieces. I do have to get a new set of front pads. They're knackered and they're old and they're probably full of asbestos. Clean up the bolts and, you know, this sort of thing. I'm not going to plate those because they do such an important job at the front. I'll just clean those up and rattle can black on them and make sure these are all spotless down the shank. But these clean up, these are hydro blasted, not spray painted. They look like they've got silver rattle can on them, but ultimately this bike is a T250 and it's supposed to have a twin leading shoe front caliper, and someone's put a GT250 front on it, but I wasn't sure what model. So anyway, I've been in communication with a place in the UK and they're going to send out the right one and hopefully a set of pads. Now, after that, I'll get this redone as well. This is a dual front hose. It's sort of joined in the centre, and I've not taken this off before. I just cracked it in the garage a minute ago. And it's just got a sleeve which attaches to a sort of a wire clamp on the headstock. So I'll get Pete at New Brakes to do those. Roadworthy people are very funny in that the hose has a branding on it to state that it complies with a certain standard. And I called an engineer about the 750, the American one I've got, and he said that has to be on there. That's the first thing they look for. So I'll get new brake lines made up, the kit out from the UK, and then the Suzuki's finished. Just got to wash it. It's pretty grotty. Anyway, the other thing I've been looking at, I've got to do a bunch of repairs on the XD. The heater tap's gone, it's leaking all over the rock covers, and the hoses feel a bit crinkly. Now, I hate this because I always try to support local industry, and they make it difficult when they're so expensive. Now, here's your two heater hoses. I've just got two the same. One's actually straight, but you can just cut that off. Oh, mozzie. And I always like using Mackay hoses, or Mackay if you prefer, or Gates. $14.95 each through Spares Box. They have an eBay store. You pay so much more in a shop, and I know the top radiator has a CH1197, and I think Spares Box has them for $12.95 delivered, so free postage, and super cheaper, the cheapest of the retail stores, and they sell it for $28, $29 I think, and so you can sort of assume that some of the other retailers are going to be dearer than that. So you're getting it for a third the price, which, as I said, I don't like that, because what it means is that you're not supporting local industry. You know, it's some guy in his garage probably selling parts, but they're the same brand as these and they're good. So I've ordered that, and I'm going to give it an oil change. A big box of Z9s. Again, I order them normally half a dozen at a time. I think I only ordered 5 this time. But the real deal, proper Ryco filters. I also ordered another half dozen Z386s for the Toyotas. Did you hear that about that? Z386s and sun plug washers. Because, you know, it's just cheaper doing it that way. I also got a hold of these. They're the cylinder head locating valves for 351, 302 Clevelands. I think they fit the Windsors as well. Set for Jason, set for me for my 351 build as well. And just odds and ends, really. But once I get the top hose for the Falcon, we'll pull it apart and change all the hoses and change the coolant, give it an oil and filter change. I'm not going to film that because no one films giving their car an oil change. Okay, reproduction GT Falcon stuff is sometimes a little bit evil and sometimes very, very good. This is a steering wheel. Now, this isn't one of the ones that you get through one of the GT Falcon shops. This is from a seller who is quite often a bit maligned. I actually really love it. Now, I was told this by a lovely chap, I'll put his name in here, I can't remember it offhand, that I met in Bunnings when I was doing some hardware shopping, paint I think. Now, this is the good part of this wheel. There are a couple of flaws, but not significant. It's the black with the wood grain, and it's a shiny finish, right? It comes with the horn apparatus, the slip rings, which secure in there, as well as securing hardware, screws, and a center, which I'll get to in a moment. The ones, it also has a new rim blow on it, so you can use the rim blow or not. It depends on what you want to do. Now, I'm happy with this, in fact, delighted. This was $695, including the center. The center I'm not so happy with. It has the chrome tape or whatever on it, everything that I wanted, really happy with it. Now, this is for the XA. That's what I purchased it for, not the XW, even though it was purchased with an XWXY center, but the center I feel is lackluster, and I think it has got fake stitching along here, but some of it's a bit weird. It's all right there, but you can see adhesive and it's a mess there. It's not a brilliant quality item. You can use GT or GS center badge, which is not supplied with, and I did think about just leaving it the way it is now and sticking it in the XW, but I think for the money it is absolutely lovely. The other thing is $695, as you see it now. The other reproduction wheels are I think about $1,200, and they're a sort of a matte finish with a darker wood grain. I think they're for the Mustangs. I think there was a difference, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Oh, hang on, that hardware there is to secure this, the hub. And of course their hex head, Allen head, which is incorrect for Ford. They always used Phillips heads. But a very small anomaly for a really, really nice product. So thank you so much to the chap who made me aware of these, because I can't put that in an XA. That's wrong. I did intend to use or to buy an XA center, XAXB center, and I also thought about sticking in the XW, but I'm kind of happy with the way that looks. Needless to say, even if you don't look at that part, that was worth every bit of $695, I feel. Another XA part, 3 O2 cylinder heads, fully reconditioned, new valves, guides, machined, all that sort of stuff. Can we see there? Springs, retainers and locks as well. Now, I use Speedworks for everything to do with engine reconditioning. Now these, he's done all sorts of, he always leaves old parts, you know. These have a damper, these springs in them. And he's also given all the valves, the old valves and this sort of stuff back, which you know, I'd probably be tempted to use them in a rough and ready build. I'm not going to throw those out. I think they're worth keeping. But these new heads come from Speedworks, and also they have all the specifications relative to what the springs are going to deal with. Given that it won't be a standard, a non-standard cam, it'll be a non-standard camshaft. Now on that K-Code XA that I had that I ruined in the 80s, I actually put 302 heads on it. You know, it says 351, but that was only for the engine that I'm building. But I actually put 302 cylinder heads on it because I blew up a 302 engine and just blow it up. I think I cracked a ring or something, started blowing smoke. And I rebuilt the 351, well, re-ringed it and all this sort of stuff, and put 302 heads on. So I do have to, now he did say let's leave them disassembled because you might have to CC them to get the compression where you want it. I've just said look, it's not going to be ready for a little while, so maybe let's just put them together and I'll stash them for now. I'm actually keeping these inside. Of course the other thing that's returned now is this lovely rear seat frame for the XA. Now again, Sam at Tech Coat in Bayswater. He's my go-to bloke for powder coating. This was blasted and powder coated and cost very, very little. Extremely cheap indeed. Couple of little repairs on it. That spring's loose and it's just a W clip that holds it on. W clip like that one there. I've got some somewhere. But the rest of it's in absolutely great condition. Now, Jason didn't have much in the way of fabric for this thing to replicate it, what was there, but there was enough. And we've also got the front sets from Graham as well. So that is absolutely brilliant. These are sought after for the GT boys, again, because of these bits here. And I ended up using a ZH, fairly one in the XC, by cutting off these things. Again, they're sort of much thicker in this area here because of the dog leg. They're a longer body, but this is a proper Falcon one. It's out of the car. It's original to the car. And I'm really, really wrapped with it. So the mechanism, as we saw in the last video, is freed up beautifully. I'll just run a tap through there, through these things, and I'll get that all plated, and I'll put a bit of marine ply inside for Jason for the armrest. But I'm really, really happy with that. And the more original stuff we can use, the better, I reckon. We still haven't found a seat base, but we can get one out of anything pretty much. Falcon 500 XB, it doesn't really matter what it is. And this is what I've got planned for the interior of the XA. This is a RPO 83 hardtop with the black as well. Mine's got the saddle. I'm thinking about the saddle with the, is that parchment, that cream colour? I think that'll look really good. Could do it in black or saddle, it wouldn't really matter, but that's the sort of look that I'm sort of striving for with the XA. And of course the other guard for the XA is the driver's guard for the XC, which Graham finished. Well, I don't think he finished it. I think there's a little bit of finessing, but when I'm ready, I will take that out, finish off whatever needs to be done, and fit it to the vehicle. So that will finish the XC. And it'll only be one or two small details with the power windows and stuff like that I have to look at. And finally, this is something I had, Toyota Starlet toolkit, jacket for the jack. And you can see it's a lot better than that other horrible thing that we unearthed out of that white cast. So you can re-zinc them. It might be worth doing that because it won't cost any extra. So I might re-zinc the other ones, but the bag can go. But I'll throw this in the car for Graham because it's the nicer of the two options. And he should hopefully be quite happy with that. The jack in the car is not bad. It's only the tools that seem to have been submerged. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for parts for now. So we'll have a look at this Starlet. You'll see what I mean with the tools. I've just remembered I'm going to put the Starlet part second. And I hope you've enjoyed that. Right, not as new. I mean, obviously this will clean up. I've given this a good clean. It was pretty messed up in there, but it's looking a lot better now. So I can stick that mat in under there. It's that guy on the ground. Stick some seats in. Put the spare in. It's got a nice healthy looking spare. And we'll just make sure it's got a good jack and tools in it. I think it has. So it's pretty grotty behind there. I like to take all this stuff out. Yeah, it's got a wheel brace. I might just clean that up. That looks pretty, Jesus, pretty mangy. So we'll give that a good clean. There's the jack handle. Probably got a better jack handle too. Does that go under there? Yeah, I think that goes under. This hasn't cleaned up all that well. I'm going to have to brush it off because it's still, it looks like dog hair and a bit of a stain there, but back seats are cheap from the wreckers and it's a very simple job to get sorted. Which way does it go? Okay. cool. Alright. I always find it easier to stick these in first, like the base of the seat. And these just virtually clip in because they've got locators there. And that just makes it easier to start the bolt. And then we get the other one. This one here is a little bit stiff. There we go. Just make sure they're tight. And just also that they lock. Cool. Now I've got a better mat. I'll just grab that spare. The good thing about this car is it's never been smacked in the back. I'll probably get a better one of these too. I've got to get that container out of the what do you call it? The shed to see exactly what I've got that's better. I'll just swap things over. Such as the wheel brace, or sorry, the jack handle, that's pretty shabby. Oh, stress. This doesn't look too good. Gonna nail someone up to a cross. I have got better tools than this. I don't think I want to give him those. Oh, this for a nail. Yeah, I might just chuck that out. So the mat that came, oh, you know, that on the drive. The mat that came out of it doesn't look all that bad. It's just filthy. But the issue is it's torn out in areas. So, hang on. It doesn't look that good. I've got another one here, which I think might look a bit nicer. Again, it's not perfect by any stretch, but it is a lot cleaner. Although it does have the same sort of thing. In fact, it's torn there, but it doesn't seem to be torn worse than, say, that one and that one combined. Some of these are stuffed as well, so I think I might throw this one in. It's a 5-door car, and as such it's supposed to have rear speakers in it. So there's the plug for rear speakers. The good thing about these is they've got 2 earths, so it's not a common ground like you'd find in some sort of older cars. It's got 2 grounds, which is good. The problem is I haven't got a 5-door parcel tray. The parcel tray I've got is a good 3-door one, which hasn't been cut. Right, so here it is here, and it's got the grommet there for around the centre brake light. These were broken, and you can actually replace them. There's a broken one there. You can sort of get them out. I ended up popping a hole behind and knocking them out, and you can just put them in like this. But the issue with them is that these receptacles here are very hard to get. This side doesn't have one, and I've only got that, so I've got 2 left-hand ones. There are people who 3D print these, so you can get them, but I haven't got one for this car, so it means the parcel tray isn't going to be secured properly. I'm going to leave the parcel tray down, just because if we tie it up, it'll probably, you know, move around and not close, or at least not sit right when we close the tailgate. At the moment, it's pretty good. Car looks respectable. Well, it's dark, but you can see the car is actually quite nice. Battery's pretty dicky. And we'll give it an oil change, but our seatbelt light, whoops, comes out, turns off and all that sort of stuff. Haven't got a horn though, so we're going to have a look at that. So, okay, well that's because the horn isn't plugged in, dickless. Hang on a minute, let me just sort that out. That must have been why I've got that plugged in now and the horn still doesn't work. Let us have a look. Have we got, let's hide that in, have we got down, oh look, cigarette lighter works, these are all working. Now, just a sec. They're working, but they're not, so we'll have to fix those. I've got to take the tailgate trim off anyway to get to the lock. And we haven't got the side markers on. Got an indicator there. And there's one hanging down there somewhere. There it is. But all in all, you know, it's not too bad. It's okay. The rear demister, and you can hear the revs sink a little bit when that comes on, so that's no doubt working. Cancels. High beam indicator. I'll just pop it in reverse and make sure we've got reverse lights, which we do. Wonderful, so they work. And yeah, that works. The pump works. It's all good. I'm actually quite happy with it. And I think Graham will be too. At least I hope he is. Oh, the stereo. That's right. I might put another speaker in there. I might have a spare one, genuine one. When you put it on, you get a bit of distortion there. And I've got that door trim as well. Right, well, I think today is a nice day. It's going to be a good day to do something about the appearance of this thing. I might move that. Ugh, bird poo. Better get that off. I might move some cars around first and back this up. I haven't moved it under its own power since I got it. Pretty much. Right, let's try this. Bucket of crap, see if it moves. Right. Oh gosh, that must be the front guard. I need to get it. Sweet. Oh, it sounds like a bomb. Well, the car is a bomb, but anyway. I wanted to get it in the shade. I'm going to start taking those off. So, in the sun was, oh that's right, different key. I was going to take that lock out, don't I? But I'm going to wash it first and get these stickers off. This is definitely not the right way to do this. I'm using a new razor blade. Laying it down, just lifting a corner. Put it this way, I wouldn't do this on my Commodore. But it does let you get it off, because the sticker's all crazed and sort of horrible. And I've done this several times without scratching. If it's an old banger, I don't think it matters that much, but sometimes it comes off in sheets. Damn. Try and get this one. Sometimes you can get it off in a big sheet. Like before I turned the camera on. I got a huge sheet of it off and I thought, oh, I've got to film these. So you turn the camera on, of course can't do it after that. Oh, that's hot. I think I might have got the metal a bit too warm. Oh, that really is hot. Here we go. Oh, look, how satisfying is that? So I just go around and clean up the edges. I haven't washed it yet, obviously, because, you know, I can't be bothered. But I'll do that in a moment. So that gummy stuff there will probably come off when that panel cools down a bit. You can see with my dirty finger. It's all come off beautifully, there's no damage to the paint, but there's just that sticky residue. There are yuck off and gum off and all this sort of crap you can get it off with, but I haven't got the patience for that. And the paint's beautiful underneath. In fact, the paint's nicer underneath than anywhere else in the car. If it's really tough, a little bit of prep salt here. I'm just going to soften up the gum. And then just shave it off. Like that. Wet it again. My rag's already dry, but you get the picture. And you can get it an expert finish. Without buying products which ordinarily you would never buy. I don't know why people insist on putting stickers right in the middle of their back window. Get some prep sole onto that if I have to. I probably don't even need to. Oh no, that's just coming off. Alright, sweet. Oh, Munro. No more Munro, I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll just give it a quick tub. It'll give us some indication of what it's going to look like, although I haven't painted this yet. Have a look at the front, because I haven't started really fixing that up. Let's have a look at this. It's just generally really sort of poor to look at. So we got lichen. So let's give it a bit of a clean up, eh? Well, it's certainly better. We need our handy dandy toothbrush, because what that'll let us do is get into all these areas and clean them up. Light tub, and there's a couple of things that are evident. It looks a bit better, but still dull. Well, kind of dull. A bit of sheen on it, but not that great. White water. Now, that'll be, and there's also a white film all over the glass. And that'll be, when I washed it, paint's starting to break down. There's a dead layer of paint on it, and it feels rough. Down there's not too bad, because I cleaned up where the stickers were. Oh, I forgot to clean in there. I better do that. But, you know, it's not great. Now, there's a couple of things you can do. I can buff it, and all that'll do is clag up the buff. Now, I'd like some 2,500, maybe 3,000 grit paper and give it a pass. I've only got 2. So I'll clean up the tailgate. We'll see how that goes. There's stains in it where the plates were, and I don't know what that is. You know, it's a bit less than ideal, but we'll give it a pass and just see what happens. It feels very rough in that area there. So all I'm going to do is just gently, I'll just wet it down a bit. And I'm literally just wiping over it. And what it does, I'll do it here where you can probably see it a bit better. It's dusting over it, and it's just clean underneath. It feels nice. It feels quite nice. Now, this is 2-pack. I don't know what Toyota were painting in. Oh, shit. I don't know what they were painting in 1991 when that Nova was made. I don't even know if Holden might have painted it, but that did the same thing. And gee, that was, when did we get that car? What's the loan at 26? 8 years ago we did it, and I buffed it, clagged up the paper, because I didn't do this, what I'm doing now. And it's just starting to go like that again, and it's been outside every day. Can I get in there and clean that bit up? Not really, I don't want to take anything off the edge of that. I think I'll leave that bit. But that'll buffer right now. We'll just see what it's like in where the number plate is. And just take the stains off. That's all I'm sort of doing. See that yellow water? It just looks better, and that will keep the buff pad a bit cleaner. I've got to take that off. And I'll give that a clean. But that is all I'm doing. I'm just wiping over it very gently, getting some stains off, and any dead sort of paint sitting there, but that'll come up wrong there. Nothing will be fine, I'll just clean around that Toyota badge. If I can get in there. I didn't do a very good job of it before. I don't really want to take it off. I have got some double-sided tape to put it on, but it's better if we just don't take it off. I would like to get in there and clean that because it's very sort of dirty, but let's just move the car somewhere where it's a bit safer to have an electric lead and give it a buff. I'm sort of hopeful you can see some of these marks. Now this has been washed pretty extensively. It's been shampooed, so to speak. There's an old saying, this will buff out. Well, we're going to see if some of these scratches will. Now if the paint's broken, that paint's broken there, that's not going to come out, but marks like that will. That one's a bit of broken paint too. So the other side had a lot of marks like that which just came straight out. But I'm not looking at taking much product off if I can avoid it. Some of that will come out, but that main scratch will stay. We can't do anything about that. This looks fairly sad, but that'll come out. And look, if there's a couple of scratches in it, you've got to say, well, the car is 23 years old. What do you expect? You know, it really doesn't matter. No car's perfect, and if it was, why would you take it out into a shopping centre car park when some goon could bash it up for you? So this is a cheat's way of doing it. You can use cutters and just sit there and cut away at it, but I don't like really tough cutters. I use a very gentle compound, and you know what I'm doing here, I'm really not taking much off. I'm only taking off damaged areas just to clean it up a bit. Right, here we have our little banger. I've cleaned up the tailgate and put a bogus rego plate on just for aesthetics. This car has been repainted there, and it's been blended there, so I might have had a bit of a punch in the back here, but all the sharp lines look fine, so I think it's only superficial. Right, oh, I do have to paint that tailgate. What do you call it? Tailpipe. Doesn't look very good. So I've got a cover on to protect the steering wheel further. It's just an old one we had, and air conditioning feels good. Awesome. All right, I'm going to move it. That's well, I managed to do that door trim. I'll do it later though. Actually, I do have to do a few things on that side. I've got to put that on the seat, door trim, and something else. Oh, the dashboard inside. I didn't put that in. All right, just a minute. Right, as I said, this thing's been punched in the back. These are stickers. I got a bunch of these from a wonderful bloke called Kevin. I couldn't find the Toyota replacement, the genuine ones, which I don't care if they're genuine or not. You just got to peel that back on itself because they don't have a kind of stick. And he actually reached out and said, look, I can do them for you. And so he did some silver ones and gold ones. I think I've got gold ones on one car. I'm going to try this side. And they look fantastic. These are silver because it'll go with the white and the interior colour. So you can see, I can just see where the sticker was. That's how dirty the paint was. Anyway, I've got to try and get this off. Here we go. And he did such a wonderful job with them. They're wonderful stickers. Okay. Now, if I can keep my eye on where it was. There it is there. Right there, I think. Well, that's where it's going. And the genuine ones, they're expensive. If you can find them. There's some. They come in a bag with a part number on them. Actually, I opened this in the garage. There it is there. That's for the side light when you put these on the guards. That's for the edge of the tailgate. And the lock when you put them here. Now, this stood out like crazy before where it said life, but you can't see it now. So I think it was initially on incorrectly. So we'll do the same thing with this one. Oops. Hang on a minute. These must be really old. Well, I guess they are. They've made these cars in ages. See that? The paper? I've just got to get that out. There we go. Well, the front still looks like ours, but not looking at that, right? And the back looks, oh, look at this. It looks very good. So, bumpers, sorry with the wind. Sorry, you can't hear me, can you? Still a bit yellowy there, but much better. I haven't painted, you might be able to hear this. I haven't yet been able to paint the wiper up, but we stuck some stickers on, cleaned up the tailgate, and I reckon that looks pretty peachy. That's very clean, good daily drive type standard. So I'll try and do something with the bumper. You can see there's streak marks and all sorts of things and some blue marks on it, that sort of stuff. I'm not going to paint it. I don't want to paint it. I do have to paint the front one. And I haven't washed very well under that wheel arch, but it doesn't matter. This has got some dents on it. Graham saw them straight away. I didn't even know they were there till about a day before he saw them. So it has had a bit of a smack here, I think. But look at the difference between there and there. That's very yellowy, and that's what's coming out with that 2000. I probably wouldn't bother doing that because it doesn't feel chalky. I could just buff that. But anywhere where it feels really chalky, it's all over the windscreen, then I'll do it. I was a bit worried the paint I got was the wrong colour, but it's because the car's so yellowed off. But anyway, look, hope you've enjoyed that. Take good care of yourselves, and I shall see you soon. What do you reckon? She haven't. Jesus. Move. Move, cat. Move. Move. Come on. Off you go.